Welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. My name's Hussein. Happy to be with you. Happy you could be with me. Just before I get started on my topic for tonight, which is about 4-year pregnancies, and you guys, please don't be making fun of this or mocking, because there's not just 4-year pregnancies. According to Islamic sources, there's up to 10-year pregnancies. So 4-year pregnancy is not that big of a deal. And it happened a lot. And so it's not just, something, ha, 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 ha. No, they're, this is, Muhammad had a miracle birth, and it took 4 years. And I mean, he came out and he was, already ready to play, soccer. I'm just kidding. But anyway, just before we talk about that, there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. Just real briefly, something that I find very hopeful is it seems like the people of Gaza are beginning to rise up against Hamas. I don't know. I don't know if this is real. Well, no. Well, obviously they're not making this up.
Have you
And
seen this?
so,
It's absolute.
so, I hope, this is in Gaza, people doing demonstrations wanting to be free from Hamas. You see, this is what has to happen. This is what has to happen, is that the people of Gaza
They've
rise up.
died over the last few years.
Okay, so now I was there. Like I said, I've told you many times that I was there when let's see. So they are turning against Hamas. And that is super encouraging, because that's what has to happen. That's the only solution. In terms of politics, that's the only solution, is that the people have to rise up. The people of Gaza have to rise up. Because I was there, I was there when Hamas took over. They didn't do it. They didn't do it gently. They did a very violent coup. They overthrew Fatah and they threw them out. And Fatah they're not a whole lot better. They're not a whole lot better, but they're a little bit better. They're the lesser of two evils. And so I was there when that happened, and they've been in charge ever since. That's 17 years ago. They've never, just to prove that they're good at democracy as long as they to get in, but they won't get out. Just like Abu Mazen, of Fatah. And I was talking to somebody the other day. I don't know if democracy works in the Arab world. I hate to be so pessimistic. I hate to be so negative, but I don't know if democracy works in the Arab world. You start to wonder if the only thing that works in the Arab world is dictatorships. Because when there's dictatorship, there's respect for minorities. The dictators want to suck up to the West, and so they treat the Christians good, and not necessarily good, but better, So, anyway, so anyway, I'm encouraged. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, there was like 100 people went out marching against Hamas. Today, I think there was like 1,000. You guys, Hamas is so weak right now. I mean, they're terrorists, and they don't care about their people. They will kill their own people. But this is the weakest they've been. and Israel is moving in and saying they're going to start taking over parts of the Gaza Strip. And so when that happens, Hamas is decimated. And I know CNN and the New York Times are all pro Hamas, and they are all uh, trying to show how they are going to continue because their philosophy, their that people like, and but I don't believe that. I believe it can be decimated, and so anyway, that's kind of what's happening there, which is kind of good. Now about something else, and I did a live stream about this. Okay. Uh, um, okay. It's about let me just show you. I know. It's about the controversy about um, the Snow White movie. This movie has flopped. You know what I heard today, that it cost like 270 million to make the movie, and then I think it was on Megyn Kelly. They said they spent another 230 million promoting it. That would be $500 million was spent on this movie, and it is flopping big time. It is flopping big time. And a lot of it is her fault, this actress's fault, because she's so arrogant, and she's said really mean things to Trump supporters. And, and, but there was a video of her sitting in a theater by herself. And this was a theater showing uh, the Snow White movie. And she was the only person in the theater. She was the only person in the theater, and she's laughing hysterically. She's laughing hysterically in the theater and she's the only person in the theater to watch this movie. And when her name comes up, she starts clapping wildly, and she's laughing hysterically. And you know what? She is being raked over the coals. And I know she said stupid stuff. And I know that she's arrogant and all that stuff. But I tell you what, I'm a little concerned for her, man. This is a huge, huge blow. I mean, it's not like losing a job at McDonald's making, $20 an hour. This is a uh, $500 million riding on her shoulders, and it is going down. This movie, there's such a backlash against it, and I'm just a little concerned that she's not going to go crazy, and because I mean everybody is there. She is the scapegoat. Disney, everybody's turning against her, and she's a young girl. She's only like 23 or something like that, and you just like, you know um you don't want her you know to go crazy and do something, hurt herself or something, so just pray for her that she gets saved, that her eyes will be open to know the truth, and to know that the glory that she has, because she was in a movie with Steven Spielberg movie called West Side Story, and I think she was in the Hunger Games, and so but this could be the end of her career, and it's she's so young, and so you know but she really is to blame, though, because I mean she said some stupid stuff. She said really bad stuff about Donald Trump, about Trump supporters, about Israel, and so and the backlash is coming big time. big time. Like I said, this movie is $500 million. It's like, and it's going down. It is a total flop and unbelievable. But you know what? Disney wants to keep, um, and it's not just her fault. It's Disney's fault too. So they deserve a big part of it because they're the ones who want to make it all politically correct. And the people in America are saying, dude, we don't want your political correctness. Just give us a stupid cartoon to take our kids to, and no, they have to make it a communist manifesto, Snow White, the Karl Marx Snow White, and so yeah. She might need a prince to rescue her after this, yes. So anyway, I kind of wish they would leave her alone now, just because she's so young. You don't want her to push her over the edge, man. um, and it's not just her fault, it's Disney's fault too. They're the ones that really um, are behind it. So anyway, that's a couple of things that I just want to um, I just want to talk about a little bit about but now I wanted to talk about the 4-year pregnancy. You know that what happened, and I want to draw it for you on my Ali Dawa's wife board. And what happened is this. Okay, let's put right here. D D. Okay, now Muhammad's daddy was named Abdullah. Abdullah, supposedly, and his grandfather's name was Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib. So Abdul Muttalib went to the house of Amina's father. That would be Muhammad's mom. And the grandfather went to find a wife for his son. So the grandfather went to the house of the father of Aminah, Muhammad's mother, to find a wife for his son Abdullah. So he goes, okay, the two of them go together to the house of Muhammad's mother, Aminah, and so they go to her house to marry Aminah. And so they ask for Aminah, who is Muhammad's mother. And while there, Abdul Muttalib, the grandpa, sees a nice looking girl who happened to be Aminah's sister. And he says, and sure, he's probably 60 years old, 70 years old, but he sees the young girl and he likes her. He says, I want to marry her sister. So he marries her sister. Let me see, what was her sister's name? Shoot. I'll just put sister because I can't remember her name. So the father and the grandfather both got married on the same day. The father and the grandfather got married the same day to sisters, Aminah and her sister. Okay, so they both got married the same day to the father and grandfather of Muhammad, supposedly. Well, so they go home and then they both get pregnant. They both get pregnant. Okay, so they're both pregnant. Okay, and pregnant. Okay. And then before Muhammad is born, before this pregnancy is completed, Abdullah dies. So he dies. Okay. But the grandfather, he survives and he has a son He has a son named Hamza. Now, because the father died, that would mean that Amna had to be pregnant at the same time as her sister because they both got pregnant really fast. And so she had to get pregnant really fast. And then Abdullah died that first year. But they did research about, so Muhammad and Hamza would have been born around the same time. Okay. Muhammad and Hamza, his cousin, had to be born around the same time, or Muhammad had to be older than Hamza. But what we find is that Hamza is 4 years older than Muhammad. Hamza is 4 years older than Muhammad because when Hamza died, they said that he was 4 years older than Muhammad. Now, how could he be 4 years older than Muhammad when Amina got pregnant the first year of the marriage, the same time her sister got married, pregnant? And so, and then the father died, but Muhammad wasn't born for another 4 years. So Muhammad was born 4 years after his father died. 4 years after his father died, Muhammad was born. He should have been the same age as Hamza, but he was 4 years younger. So how could it be that, and that's not possible because Abdullah died. How could she get pregnant when Abdullah was dead? So the conclusion is that we discovered the problem. The problem is that Amna was pregnant for 4 years. So Abdullah got her pregnant, but she didn't have the baby for 4 years. And you know, and like I said, you can go to the book by um, Ahmed bin Hanbal. And, there's the four schools of Islamic jurisprudence: Hanbali, Shafi'i, Maliki. There's one more. Maliki, there's two M's. Maliki, Shafi'i, Maliki. But anyway, all four of them have passages that indicate that a woman can be pregnant up to 4 years. In fact, you guys, this is amazing. This is truly amazing. That Hanafi, yes, thing. Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanafi, Hanbali. Yeah, there's two H's actually. Yeah. Um, I mean, this is truly amazing, guys. A woman can actually be pregnant up to 10 years. A woman can be pregnant up to 10 years, you guys. So it's an amazing thing. The baby, the kid is born and he's already in fourth grade. And so, um, well, Tiger, I was showing my board here that Abdullah and his father Abdul Muttalib got married on the same day to two sisters. One of them is Aminah, Muhammad's mother, and then Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather, got married to another girl. I think her name was Hala. Hala, and so and both of them got pregnant instantly. And so, but then Abdullah, Muhammad's supposed father, died. Okay, so she had to have got pregnant before he died, obviously, right? And then Abdul Muttalib's son Hamza was born. Abdul Muttalib's son Hamza was born. Well, Muhammad should have been born around the same time because his father was dead and his mother was pregnant. But he wasn't born for another 4 years. And what's the explanation? The explanation is that she was pregnant for 4 years. And so, and you guys, you know, um, This is an amazing thing in Islam that, women can be pregnant for 4 years, and it's not, and this really is not supernatural, Jedediah. I just want to clarify that this is not a supernatural thing. This is a common thing in Islam. There are many women who have been pregnant for 4 years. There's one woman in particular who had 4 kids, and each one of them was a 4-year pregnancy. So it took her 16 years to have 4 kids. Okay, she had 4 boys. It took her 16 years because each one of them, she was pregnant 4 years with them. So it's an amazing thing, but it's not miraculous though, because it happens a lot. So, and it happened with Muhammad's mother. So anyway, I just want to show you that there are actually sheikhs who still believe this, and so you know, and if you want to know my opinion of the reality of the situation, I will tell it to you at the end of this live stream. Okay. Yes, Tiger, they have teeth, they have hair, they have fingernails, and they have very often very big appetites. So the moms have to eat a lot, in order to keep them alive for 4 years. But the great thing is when the kid is born and he's already 4 years old, is that you know you don't have to deal with the terrible twos. you know the terrible twos. All kids go through the terrible twos where they get real stubborn, real rebellious. No matter what you tell them, they tell you no, no, no. It's called the terrible twos. Well, that doesn't happen. You just kind of leapfrog over that because the kid is 4 years old when he's born. And so it's an amazing thing, and it happened a lot. So let's just watch these. Now, these are in Arabic, but I will translate them for you. Okay. So okay, now there's one particular guy, this guy right here. He's one of the wisest um, sheikhs on this topic. He has amazing wisdom. So let's just watch this real quick.
In the heart of Lebanon, where many innocent children are orphaned.
Many innocent Christians are being killed. Yes, okay.
Somehow that this is Laylatul Qadr, and then you're informed that this will also be the
كسامع لها أو كذا إلى آخره لا
Okay.
تقبلها أو تتململ أو كذا، هذا شأن. وكون الشريعة الإسلامية تحمي الإنسان وتحمي عرضه وتحمي نفسه
The Islamic law protects a man's dignity
وتحمي عقله وتحمي
and preserves his intellect
ماله وتحمي دينه
and his genes.
ده أمر آخر. اللي يستهزئ يستهزئ.
He says, whoever wants to mock this, the fact that a woman can be pregnant for 4 years, let him mock.
يسخر يسخر، واللي يقبل يقبل، واللي
And whoever wants to accept it, accept it.
يرفض يرفض، والشريعة
And whoever wants to reject it, reject it.
مطلق.
But the law is clear.
لا تهتم كثيرا بهذا الاعتراض عليه.
Don't worry about people's stupid objections.
ماذا تقول الفتوى؟
What does the law say?
تقول إن القانون المصري الذي وضعه أساطين القانون في العالم الذي هو مثال يحتذى وتجربة يجب علينا أن نعيد قراءتها وأن نفتخر بها وبآبائنا الذين وضعوه.
With the law in Egypt is something that we should boast about and be proud about.
من المشايخ والعلماء
From the scholars and sheikhs.
والقانونيين أننا أمام أحكام مختلفة
Before certain judgments
لهذه الحالة لامرأة يموت عنها زوجها فإذ
that a situation happens where a woman is pregnant and her husband dies.
بها تأتي بولد بعد 4
And then she has a kid after 4 years. 4 years after her husband dies, she has a kid.
سنوات. الحالة الأولى هي نسبة هذا الولد للميت
مم.
الذي سيترتب عليه الميراث.
You have to think, you guys, so because the kid is born 4 years later, does that mean he's not going to inherit the property, his father's property, when he gets old?
وهنا لابد علينا من أن نذهب إلى العلم والطب.
So we should go now to science and medicine.
والعلم والطب يقول إن هذا الطفل لا يبقى في بطن أمه
أكتر من 13.
من 13 شهر.
أيوه.
If we look at science, that baby can only survive in his mother's stomach 13 months.
ولذلك فنحن نسير مع الطب الحديث الذي لم يرصد وحط على يرصد دي دايرة عشان هنرجع لها.
And so we look at modern science that does not observe, and we put a big question mark around it.
لم يرصد إطلاقا في أي حالة من الحالات على وجه الأرض رصدا علميا دقيقا معتمدا حادا واضحا أكثر من 13 شهر. فالست لو جابت في 13 شهر نقول لها أيوة ده ابنه صحيح.
So if the baby is born 13 months after the father dies, it's very clear that that is definitely the father's son, because a woman is definitely able to be pregnant for 13 months.
بالرغم إن المعتاد 9.
Even though usually it's 9 months.
لما يبقى 10 يبقى في خطورة.
When it's 10 months, you say, oh, it's dangerous.
على
ده مش
نفسه.
خطورة ده يا فندم الأطباء، وده مش كلامي أنا. كبار الأطباء بيقولوا 13 شهر، لو زاد عن هذا
يموت.
لا عملية قيصرية
على
لأن
طول.
الطفل.
And this poor reporter, he unfortunately he has a brain, and this guy's going to be he's going to get it from the Sheikh Jim'ah. This guy's like a mufti. He's a big deal, the Sheikh guy. And so he's saying, that after 13 months the baby can die.
نفسه بيطلع له شعره
He has teeth and he's got fingernails and he starts hurting the mother.
وأظافر وممكن يؤذي الأم ويجي لها حالة
ينفجر الرحم
والمشيمة تنفجر والتسمم.
ويأتيني الطبيب ويقول لي
He's saying there could be poison. The mother can be poisoned.
ماذا أفعل؟ هل أستنى يمكن الواد ده اللي في بطنها يقعد أو اوعى؟ لازم على طول تطوع اللي في الكتاب. لأنك تعرف ترتيب ما في الكتاب ولا تعرف ترتيب ما تم من 1400 سنة.
He says, our situation in the book, meaning the Quran, and our situation before 1400 years.
فأنت يا أخينا يا طبيب لازم على طول تشوف الكتاب بيقول لك إيه. افتح من الشهر العاشر، افتح من الشهر الأسبوع الكذا، افتح. ده كله ده مكتوب في الكتاب اللي أنا كاتبه.
See, this is all in my book that I wrote about. So apparently this guy wrote a book about embryology. It's probably an amazing book. Judging by what he's saying, it sounds like an amazing book.
يا طبيب طوع الطب ويا قانون التزم بالطب في قضيتين، قضية النسب والميراث.
Okay.
فالتزمنا فيها بالإيه؟ بال13 شهر.
So we say that the woman, has been pregnant 13 months.
البشرية واسعة الأحوال مترامية الأطراف رصدت 4 سنوات.
اليوم من خلال مشروع.
So he's saying that people have observed up to 4 years.
إيه بقى يا فقيه بين هذا
من خلال كتاب، من خلال امرأة محمد بن عجلان
وغيرها
فين يا فندم؟
نعم.
مش في السير.
Now he's talking about a particular story in which there's the wife of Muhammad ibn Ajlan. She's the one who had 4 kids. Each one of them, she was pregnant with them for 4 years. So, it took her 16 years to have these 4 kids. But the sheikh says, yes, that story, but there's other stories as well. It's not the only story, you guys.
لا من نبلاء للشيخ الذهبي.
أيوة ده أنا ضربت بها مثلا. وغيره. فالإمام الشافعي راصد 4 سنوات.
He's saying Shafi'i said 4 years is the limit.
امامه في كذا، وضرب مثالا بامراه محمد بن عجلان. لكن حدث في عصره ان رصد الاطباء هذا
الاطباء
الرصد.
مين يا فندم؟ هو كان في سونار ولا اجهزه حديثه ولا اجهزه معتمده؟
Okay. This reporter says, what do you mean, my friend, about, that it was observed that that this woman is pregnant for 4 years? Do they have sonar back then? Do they have those, sonars that can see the kid in the mother's stomach?
التوقيت.
شوف اقول لك حاجه. احنا اولاد ادم وحواء.
ايوه يا فندم.
The sheikh says, I want to teach you something. We are the children of Adam and Eve.
والستات فضلت تولد، تحمل وتولد، تحمل وتولد، وتولد لغايه.
And women, since the time of Adam and Eve, have been getting pregnant and giving birth, getting pregnant and giving birth.
النهارده. فلا هي محتاجه سونار ولا هي محتاجه فلسفه زياده.
So they didn't need sonar, where they see that the baby, what they call that thing that they do where they could see the baby. He said they didn't need sonar, and they don't need all this philosophy you're trying to bring up. he's rebuking the reporter for asking this question.
لأن ده حس مدرك بالحس.
He says this is about feelings and what she feels.
ده مش محتاج.
يعني افرض فضيلتك.
ما خليني أكمل.
Okay. The reporter is saying, what about if, your honor, your majesty, what if? And then the sheikh is saying, dude, would you just shut up and let me make my point? That's not exactly what he's saying, but it is what he's saying.
لأن المقاطعة.
He says, when you keep cutting me off, it makes it difficult for me to make my point. So,
تؤدي إلى تمام الجملة وعدم تمام الجملة المفيدة.
When you prevent me from completing my beneficial sentence,
لا يؤدي إلى شيء.
it doesn't lead to any benefit.
خلي الحوار.
نخش في الموضوع يا فندم.
الست أيام سيدنا نوح حامل وبتموت وهي حامل. ففتحوا بطنها ولقوا ولد. الست بتحمل وبتحس بالولد وبيضرب وبيرفص برجليه. وقعد في بطنها 2 و3 و4.
Oh, wow. This is amazing, you guys. He says that there was, in the time of Noah, there was a woman who had been pregnant. And, she died, but, they did a cesarean on her, and they found the kid had been in her stomach for like 4 years.
وخلفته حي.
And he was born alive.
وخلفته ميت.
And she was dead.
وما ولدتوش فماتت بالسبب ده، والمرأة تموت بجمع شهيدة. كل ده حصل وكل ده قدام الناس وشافوه بعينهم.
Lots of people saw this, so there's lots of eyewitnesses that this happened.
دفنوها فلقوا الواد نزل من بطنها.
When they go to bury her, they find out that the kid came out.
بيصوت وهو
and he's crying.
في القبر. ففتحوا القبر.
And he was inside the grave. They had buried him in the coffin. And then after they buried them, the kid comes out, and they heard the kid screaming in the coffin.
جابوا الولد.
So they opened the coffin, dug him up, and they took the kid out.
كل الحاجات دي حدثت والناس شافتها.
All of these things happen, and there's eyewitnesses who saw this.
بعينها. فما هياش محتاجة لا سونار ولا أي حاجة تانية.
It didn't need sonar or whatever that picture
ولا
is.
شطار. إنما الروايات دي اللي بتتروينا في سير أعلام النبلاء ولا مش في سير أعلام النبلاء؟ هل نأخذ بها الآن في الطب؟ فبقول لا. ده الطب بقى ليه مناهج تجريبية، طرق حديثة للرصد الدقيق.
Anyway, guys, I'm not going to keep playing this just because it's a little bit long, but this guy is saying very much that, I'll just kind of give you a little summary of what he's going to say. You know, what he's going to say is, you could tell the reporter is like, give me a break. Are you serious? But what this sheikh says, he says, be careful, because if you say that she wasn't pregnant 4 years, because, okay, what this guy asks, what the reporter asks him, he says, okay, sheikh, if I could just ask you a question. He says, "Tfaddal, go ahead." He says, assuming a woman is at her home and her husband goes on a journey for 4 years, and then he comes back after 4 years. Maybe he was working in Japan or China or something, and he comes back after 4 years, and he finds his wife pregnant. Can she say to him, this is your son, even though he's been gone for 4 years? And the sheikh says, absolutely. According to Islamic law, yes, 100% yes. And then the sheikh says, or what else do you want? You're going to say she's an adulteress? Because if she's an adulteress, she's going to be stoned. Are you going to take that? And you have to have 4 witnesses and everything. And you guys, don't forget that if you can accuse somebody of adultery and you haven't proved it, and you guys have heard Christian Prince enough to know how you prove it, and you don't prove it, then the accuser, whoever accused her, has to get 80 lashes on his back. So it's dangerous for everybody. So anyway, so the poor guy, the reporter, man, he's shaking. You can see him shaking and sweating as this sheikh is like rebuking him. So anyway, that's one of the videos about this, but there's actually many videos about this. So let's just go back and see some of the other videos. Okay, there's this guy right here.
هل صحيح أن النبي ولد بعد موت أبيه ب4 سنوات؟ لا كيف ولد بعد موت أبيه ب4 سنوات؟
Okay, he's saying, is it true that Muhammad was born 4 years after his father died?
كيف ولد النبي بعد موت أبيه ب4 سنوات؟ عن معنى ذلك أنه مكثت أمه وحامل به 4 سنوات.
You know that his mother was pregnant with him for 4 years and he was born?
كلام ليس عليه مستند، أول مرة نسمعه في حياتنا.
He's saying this is the first time we hear this in our life. So I don't know, maybe he didn't know about it. Okay, but this guy's kind of funny.
كمثال في الفقه الافتراضي أنا عاوزكم تاخدوا بالكم منها. بعض الكتب ذكرت مدة الحمل، اختلف الفقهاء فيها لدرجة.
Okay, this guy is very, very famous in Egypt, you guys. He's very famous. And he's saying there's a lot of people who are questioning Islamic wisdom when it comes to the idea that how long a woman can be pregnant.
إن بعض الفقهاء وصل الحمل ل4 سنين.
He says some of the scholars, Islamic scholars of jurisprudence, say that a woman can be pregnant up to 4 years.
وهاتك بقى إن عالم التطبيل إياهم اللي طلع يقول إيه؟ بيقولوا في الأزهر إن الست تحمل 4 سنين.
And they're talking about, and there's these secular doctors who are making a big deal of it. And they're saying, look what Al-Azhar, the lunatics, are saying, that a woman can be pregnant for 4 years.
ولم يقل بهذا علم. صدعونا بقى.
And then the doctors say that there's no way in science that could happen.
انتوا عارفين الأئمة قالوا الكلام ده ليه؟ عارفين.
Okay, now this guy's going to explain to us why the hadiths say that a mother can be pregnant 4 years.
الأئمة يا محترمين قالوا إن الحمل يصل ل4 سنين. طبعا إحنا عارفين إن أقصى حمل 9 شهور.
Said and yes, the hadith, the shara, which is Islamic law, does say a woman can be pregnant up to 4 years. But
اسمع، ما حدش يقول لي يعدل لي المعلومة، عارفينها. إنما أنتوا عارفين هم قالوا ليه 4 سنين؟ لأن أيامهم ما كانوش يعرفوا بالأجهزة السونار إن في حاجة اسمها الحمل الكاذب. الحمل الكاذب ده الست بطنها.
Okay, he's saying that there's this thing called fake pregnancy. He calls it, it's a fake pregnancy, and what happens is that the woman's stomach gets really fat, and her stomach just blows up. It becomes really big.
بينتفخ
It just it inflates,
وبيحصل لها نفس اعراض الحمل.
and she has the same symptoms of someone who's pregnant.
اسال خالتك وانت
Ask your maternal aunt if you don't believe me.
تعرف. ما هو موضوع معروف، كل ستات الدنيا
This is a well-known subject. All women know about this.
عارفه الكلام ده. فالحمل الكاذب بطنها بتنتفخ.
The false or counterfeit pregnancy, the stomach gets big,
وبيفضل اعراض الحمل عليها.
and the symptoms of pregnancy are visible on her.
وبتتقيأ وبتتوحم والكلام اللي
And she, what's the word? Craves certain foods. Okay.
انت فاهمه ده كله. المشكله انه احيانا يلتئم الحمل الصادق مع الحمل الكاذب. فالست قعدت.
See, the problem is sometimes the real pregnancy gets mixed up with the fake pregnancy.
بتاع سنه في حمل كاذب وفاكرينها حامل، ودخل عليه الحمل الصادق. فعند الفقهاء بالملاحظه المرئيه شافوا ان الست دي ولدت بعد سنتين. انما لو كان عند حظهم حضرتك سونار او بيحجزوا في معمل ما اعرفش ايه للتحاليل الطبيه اللي حضرتك مستند.
Well, anyway, this guy's solution for the fact that they say that Muhammad's mother was pregnant for 4 years is to say that this was common, that there were others that this happened. But he's saying there's something else happening too, which is what's called the fake pregnancy. He said it's a fake or counterfeit pregnancy, where a woman just all of a sudden her stomach gets big, and so she has the symptoms of someone who's pregnant, and including the cravings for certain foods and everything, but she's not really pregnant. Help me, somebody. Okay.
انت عبيد دلوقتي ما كانوش قالوا سنتين، ولو قالوا سنتين انت متضايق من ايه؟ اجتهادهم وشكرا، تتريق عليهم وتهكم عليهم وتحذف اقوالهم. طب تعالى.
Okay, he's saying, and some of them say that the woman stays pregnant for 2 years. And this guy's asking, what's that? Why is that a big deal to you? Why is that a problem for you? Why are you making a big deal out of this? You don't believe it. You're free not to believe, but don't make such a big deal out of it.
بقى كتب ابن سينا في الطب، ابن سينا بيقول كلام كله يضحك.
The books we have, books of medicine, it agrees with everything we have.
امسك كتب ابن سينا حطها في المجاري.
Get your Bible, put it in the sewer.
ولع فيها تقدر. ابن سينا كتبه اللي في كل متاحف العالم وفي كل متاحف الكونجرس والعالم كله بيحترموها.
The Quran is in all places in the world, thanks be to Allah. It's even in the halls of Congress.
ويقدروا الجهد العلمي اللي فيها، رغم ان ما حدش يقدر يعالج ابنه بكتب ابن سينا في الطب. ايه رأي حضرتك؟
Okay,
كمثال
so
في
that
الفقه
was
الافتراضي.
amazing wisdom there. Amazing insight. And this is the guy who you guys had a very terrifying episode where he said that he says that he had bad news. It was really bad news for people who get killed who are martyrs and then go to paradise, Jannah, Islamic paradise. He says, you guys, you're not going to have sexual organs. You're not going to have sexual organs. This guy did this, you guys. He says you're not going to have sexual organs when you go to paradise. And this is all over the Muslim world, you guys. This guy's very famous. And he says, sorry, you guys, you're not going to even be able to pee or, take a dump or anything like that in paradise. And you're not going to have reproductive organs. So you're not going to have sexual organs. And so, you know, I was thinking, well, the Quran very clearly predicts that you're going to have all these beautiful women, and you know, and then the eternally fresh young boys. The Quran talks about this. And so what are you going to do with those beautiful women that you have? They're so beautiful that you could see through them. What are you going to do with them for all eternity? You know, I'm thinking you can watch movies. You can watch Snow White. I don't know if there's some way. There is in the Hadith. There is in the Hadith a market. You guys, you know about this. There's a market, and it's kind of like a virtual reality market. So there's virtual reality in the Hadith. And what happens is that you go to this market, and this market has images of men and women. And if you see one that likes you, I mean, that you like, that pleases you, then you can enter that image and have sex with that person. So there is that market. So, but I'm sorry, guys, this guy says you're not going to have sex organs. So how's that going to happen? I don't understand. We may need to get a sheikh on here to help explain this for us. So anyway, let me show you another video about the 4-year pregnancy. You guys, this is very serious stuff. You know, I hope you're not laughing at this great wisdom. Okay, let me. Okay. Okay. Okay, now this is the most famous Muslim
واحد
sheikh.
ينزل سقط يومين وواحد ينزل سقط الى 6 اشهر وبعدين يبتدي يتولد.
Okay, talk about the how long a woman can be pregnant.
يتولد ل6 اشهر.
You know, usually a baby can be born after 6 months.
يتولد ل7.
He could be born at 7 months.
يتولد ل8.
He could be born after 8 months of pregnancy.
يتولد ل9.
He can be born after 9 months.
يتولد ل2 عند ابو حنيفه.
He can, according to Abu Hanifa, the mother can be pregnant with the baby for 2 years.
يتولد ل4 سنين عند الشافعي.
And Shafi'i, the woman could be pregnant up to 4 years.
يتولد ل5 سنين عند مالك. يعني
Malik, you know, one of the schools, they say a woman can be pregnant 5 years.
الحمل يفضل مستكن المده دي كلها. يبقى اذا تنقص المده او تزيد الايه؟ يقال ان شريك ان الضحاك ولد ل2 في بطن امه.
Okay, he's talking about a guy named Dahak his mother was pregnant with him for 2 years. Okay, so you guys, this is very serious. It's very real. So, yeah, this is Sheikh Sha'arawi. He's the Billy Graham of the Middle East. He is so famous. Now, he's dead now, but his sermons are still played on TV. He's extremely famous. Okay. Okay, here's another guy, and I don't know who this guy is.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله تعالى وبركاته في كتاب الله، وليست شبهة في حديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، إنما هذه الشبهة هي شبهة في أقوال الفقهاء.
Okay, sorry guys. Okay.
بعد 4 سنوات ننتظر. فسألوا عن أكثر مدة الحمل.
Okay, he's saying, so some people asked about how long can a woman be pregnant?
هل هناك خرق للمدة المعروفة 9
Is there any kind of information about how long a woman can be pregnant
أشهر؟
in terms of months?
هل هناك شيء نستطيع أن نجعل له تشريعا ثانويا بجانب التشريع الأصلي؟
Is there something that we can talk about jurisprudentially?
فسأل الفقهاء عن ذلك.
So the scholars were asked about this.
فكما يروى أن الإمام مالك سأل أحد جيرانه وكان رجل صدق مشهور.
And Malik, there's one of the schools, Maliki, asked one of his neighbors,
عنه الصدق وزوجته صادقة.
who was very honest, and his wife is very honest.
فقال نعم.
And they said, yes.
عندي امرأة ولدت 3 مرات.
He says, I know a woman who gave birth 3 times.
كل مرة في 4 سنوات.
Each time was in 4 years, meaning the woman was pregnant for 4 years, had a baby, then she got pregnant again for another 4 years and had a baby.
فولدت 3 مرات في 12 سنة. قال أنا عندي
So the
امرأة
woman had 3 kids over a 12-year period.
ولدت 3 مرات في كل حمل استمر 4 سنوات.
So she had 3 pregnancies that each pregnancy lasted 4 years, and then she gave birth to the kid.
يبقى إذا تنبه الفقهاء إلى أنه قد يكون هناك خرق لهذه العادة، وقد يكون هناك استثناء. لذلك جعلوا هذا استثناء، بالشرط الأول الذي هو تبين حملها، عرفناها أنها حامل وننتظر، فكم ننتظر؟ ولدت بعد شهر.
Okay. Sorry, you guys. So you see, this is really amazing, that these women are able to be pregnant for this amazing long period of time, and you guys, this still happens now. This isn't just a thing in the past, some fantasy of the past. This sheikh says this happens now. So and the reason, you guys, the reason for all of this is because Muhammad was born 4 years after his alleged father died. Muhammad was born 4 years after his alleged father died. And how could that be unless his mother was pregnant for 4 years? And so based on that, they've got all of these hadiths and all of these stories saying that a woman, and they're not making it a miracle. It's not like they're saying like the virgin birth was a miracle. No. This is something that happens. And there's 7 billion people in the world. Why is it that women can only be pregnant 9 months? Can't there be exceptions to that? Hello, so that's what they're trying to say. Yeah. So yes, and there are some who say they're pregnant for 6 months. There's some for 7 months, some for 8 months, some for 9 months, some for 13 months. That's more normal. And then you start getting into the 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, up to 10 years at least, that a woman can be pregnant with a kid. So yes, you guys, this is reality. This is truth. And so let me see if I could find the if it's not here, I'm not going to look for it too much, but I do have videos here that talk about the sorry about that. So anyway, guys, so there you have it. Yes, Muhammad's mother was pregnant for 4 years with Muhammad. It was a miracle. Now you want to know my opinion. I'm sure you guys care what my opinion is. Well, let me tell you what my opinion is. You guys, please, if you're standing up, please sit down, because this is going to be shocking. I believe that somebody had an affair with Muhammad's mother. I believe, okay, a lot of people think it was Waraka bin Nawfal, but I believe it was Buhayra the monk. Buhayra the monk, who was an Assyrian heretic. And that, thank you, Tim. This Assyrian heretic, he had a real interest in Muhammad. For instance, he tried to find him a wife when he was still 1 year old. He told this one woman who was very rich, he said to her, "You're going to marry this kid when he gets old enough." And sure enough, Muhammad's wife Khadija told him this. It's in the hadith. Muhammad's wife Khadija told Muhammad that Buhayra the monk told her, when Muhammad is old enough, marry him. Why did he care about Muhammad? Yes, Tim. Because he's his father. And so, there's many evidences that the father, Muhammad, is the monk Buhayra. Now, some people believe that the father was Waraka bin Nawfal. It's possible. We don't know, but so anyway, guys, I'm actually being a little facetious, a little bit funny with this, but it isn't funny. It's a real situation. They really believe this happens, and they believe it still happens. So it's an amazing thing. So anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. Yes, about the beam of light. The beam of light kept going from Amina when she was pregnant all the way to Basra in Syria. Who lived there? The monk Buhayra, kind of telling him, "Hey, I'm pregnant." And then the light went again when she had the baby. So it's almost like a comic book, and it's funny. All right, you guys. Well, I am going to go ahead and go to bed. I know I've been on for an hour. Yeah, wow. I made it an hour. I didn't think I would. So anyway, thank you for being with us. And if you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but much more importantly, he loves you. So let me put it back down here. Okay. Shoot, things aren't changing. Okay, if it doesn't work, then we'll go ahead and end it without the outro music. Sorry, I'm not sure what happened here, but so. All right, you guys, God bless you and have a wonderful night. Thank you for hanging out with us.